The wind howled across the dead planet, carrying dust and echoes of a forgotten war. Ethan walked slowly through the ruins of a once great alien city. The sky above was a dull gray, filled with floating debris and broken metal towers that reached like claws toward the clouds. He wore a faded space jacket and carried a scanner on his wrist. Every few seconds it beeped weakly. "Come on," he muttered, tapping the screen. "Just one working power cell and I'm done." Ethan was a human engineer, not a soldier, not a hero. He repaired old machines for scrap credits. Life was tough after the Galactic War. The government forgot about small workers like him. He lived from job to job, planet to planet, always searching, always alone. That day he had landed on Tyrus 9, a forbidden world. The record said it was empty, destroyed years ago during the war. But Ethan didn't care about rules. He needed parts, and this place was full of dead technology. He climbed over a collapsed wall, shining his torch into the shadows. Strange markings glowed faintly on the stone, alien letters long lost to time. Then he froze. Somewhere deep in the ruins he heard something, a sound, not wind, a voice. It was faint, like a whisper carried by the dust. Please, help." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. He looked around quickly. Who's there? No answer. Only silence. He thought maybe it was his mind playing tricks. But then he heard it again, closer this time. Please, don't leave me." The voice was soft, trembling, filled with fear and pain. Ethan followed the sound carefully, stepping over piles of rubble and broken glass. His flashlight shook slightly in his hand. He reached a small chamber buried under a half-collapsed wall. Something inside was moving, and weakly. He crouched down, pushing away the debris. And there, lying in the dust, was a young alien girl. She looked no older than 20, though Ethan couldn't tell her true age. Her skin was pale with a soft blue glow like moonlight shining through ice. Her silver-white hair was tangled and dirty. She wore a torn cloak covered in dust and blood. When Ethan's light touched her, she flinched, covering her face. "Don't hurt me," she whispered, her voice fragile. Ethan lowered his torch. "Hey, it's okay. I'm not here to hurt you." She slowly turned her head. Her eyes were bright violet, glowing softly in the dark. But what shocked Ethan most was the fear in them. Not anger, not hatred, just pure fear. "You're human," she said weakly. He nodded. "Yeah, and he hesitated. "You're not supposed to be alive here." "I know," she whispered. "Please, don't leave me here. Take me with you." "I'll serve you. I'll do anything. Just don't leave me." Ethan frowned. "Serve me? What are you talking about?" "I have nowhere else to go," she said, her voice shaking. "My people are gone. The humans destroyed the colony. I'm all that's left." Tears rolled down her pale cheeks, glowing faintly. Ethan felt something twist inside his chest. He had fought no wars, but he knew what they had done. The bombings, the purges. The galaxy was full of ghosts. He looked around. The air was filled with toxic dust. If he left her here, she would die in minutes. He sighed deeply. "All right," he said. "I'll take you, but you don't need to serve me, just stay alive." Her eyes widened in disbelief. "You would help." "Me? A stranger?" "I guess so," Ethan said, forcing a small smile. "You're still alive." "That's reason enough." He lifted her carefully. She was lighter than he expected, almost weightless, like carrying a shadow. He carried her through the ruins toward his small ship, the Sparrow, an old cargo vessel patched with rust and hope. As he laid her down on the medical cot, she whispered something under her breath. Ethan leaned closer. "My name? I don't remember," she said softly. "But if I live, you may call me whatever you want." Ethan hesitated, looking at her pale, glowing face. "Then I'll call you Lyra," he said quietly. "Like the constellation, small but full of light." Lyra smiled faintly before her eyes closed. Her breathing slowed, steady but weak. Ethan turned away, staring out the small window of his ship. The storm outside grew stronger, thunder echoing through the ruins. He didn't know it yet, but that choice, saving a forgotten alien girl, would change the fate of the entire galaxy. And somewhere, far above the clouds, a distant signal blinked red on a galactic scanner. Unauthorized life form detected on Tyrus 9. The hunt had just begun. The small ship Sparrow drifted quietly above the ruined planet. Inside, dim lights flickered as the engine hummed weakly. Ethan sat beside the medical bed, watching the strange girl breathe. For hours, she had not moved. Her skin glowed faintly blue like soft light underwater. Ethan didn't know if she was sleeping or dying. He had cleaned her wounds and covered her with a blanket, but she still looked fragile, like glass that could break at any touch. He sighed, leaning back in his chair. "What did I just do?" he whispered to himself. Helping an alien, especially her kind, was a serious crime. The Galactic Council called them enemy remnants. Anyone who gave them shelter could be executed without trial. But Ethan couldn't leave her there. He remembered her voice in the ruins, shaking with fear. That voice still echoed in his head. Suddenly, a faint sound broke the silence, a whisper. "Where am I?" Ethan turned quickly. The girl's eyes were open, glowing violet like stars trapped in water. "You're on my ship," he said softly. "You were hurt. I brought you here." She looked around, confused. "I thought I died." "Almost," Ethan said, trying to smile. "You're safe now." For the moment, her fingers touched the blanket, then her face as if trying to remember who she was. "Safe," she repeated. "That's a strange word." Ethan frowned. "You don't remember anything, do you?" She shook her head slowly. "I remember. Running. Fire, screams, my people burning. I tried to save them, but then..." Her voice broke. Everything went dark. Ethan didn't know what to say. He wasn't good with emotions, as machines were easier. Machines didn't cry. After a moment, he asked gently, "Do you have a name?" She looked lost. "Name," she whispered. "No, I don't think I have one." "Everyone has a name," Ethan said. "Even broken machines get serial numbers." She smiled faintly at that. "Then maybe I'm just broken." Ethan stood up and crossed his arms. "Fine. Until you remember, I'll call you Lyra. It suits you." "Lyra," she repeated softly, testing the sound. "It's beautiful," he shrugged. "It's a constellation back on Earth, a small one, but it shines even in the darkest sky." For the first time she smiled, and a real, soft smile that made her eyes glow brighter, but the peace didn't last. Later that night, while Ethan was repairing the ship's power core, a sharp alarm beeped on his scanner. He frowned and checked the readings. Strange energy pulses were coming from the medbay. He rushed in. Lyra sat on the bed staring at her trembling hands. Glowing lines and thin as veins spread across her skin, forming strange patterns that looked like circuits. "Lyra," Ethan shouted. "What's happening to you?" "I don't know," she cried. "It hurts." Her body glowed brighter, filling the room with blue light. The lights on the ship flickered wildly. Ethan grabbed his toolkit and ran to the scanner beside her bed. The screen showed impossible data. Her body was producing power, real energy like a living generator. "Your blood," Ethan said, his voice low. "It's made of nanotech." Lyra looked terrified. "Nanotech? But that's illegal, right?" "More than illegal," Ethan said. "It's forbidden. This technology was destroyed after the war," she gasped. "Then what am I?" Ethan stared at her, unable to answer. He had seen machines, androids, and bioclones, but Lyra was different. Her cells were alive and metallic at the same time. Whoever made her had broken every galactic law. He turned off the scanner and knelt beside her. "Listen, don't panic. We'll figure this out, but..." "They'll find me," she whispered, trembling. "They always do." Ethan hesitated. "Who?" "The ones who made me," she said. "And the ones who destroyed them." She looked up, her violet eyes glowing brighter. "I remember something now. A name. Project Celestine." Ethan froze. He had heard that name before, in war reports. Project Celestine was a secret program to create living weapons. The Council had erased every trace of it. Anyone connected to it was hunted down. His hands grew cold. "Lyra, if that's true, we're both in danger." She looked at him sadly. "Then you should leave me behind." "Not a chance," he said quickly. "I saved you. I'll protect you." Lyra's eyes softened. "Why? I'm not even human." Ethan looked away. "Because maybe humanity isn't about what you are. It's about what you choose to do." For a moment, silence filled the ship. The hum of the engines returned to normal. Lyra slowly lay back down, tears glimmering on her cheeks. Ethan sat beside her, staring at the dark window outside. Stars drifted past, cold and distant, but far away, on a galactic patrol ship, a red alert blinked on a monitor. "Unknown biosignal detected. Possible Celestine survivor, a voice answered coldly. Send Marshal Kara Thorne. No survivors. Ethan didn't know it yet, but someone powerful was already coming for them. The girl with no name had become a signal of death, and the hunt was about to begin. The stars outside the Sparrow looked calm, but Ethan's mind was anything but. He sat in the cockpit, staring at the data his scanner had collected from Lyra's body. The results made no sense. Her blood wasn't normal. It was alive, a flowing river of microscopic machines working together like a living swarm. Ethan rubbed his forehead. Nanotech that behaves like DNA, he whispered. This shouldn't even exist anymore. A soft voice came from behind him. You're studying me again, aren't you? He turned. Lyra stood in the doorway, wrapped in one of his old jackets. The glow beneath her skin was faint now, but her violet eyes still shimmered. Ethan forced a smile. You should be resting. She walked closer, curious. You think I'm dangerous, he hesitated. I think? I don't understand you. Lyra looked at the data screen, her expression unreadable. Neither do I. For a moment, silence filled the room. Only the hum of the engine broke it. Ethan sighed. Lyra, your body, it's full of nanotech. That means you were part of something big. Maybe. Military? Lyra looked down, gripping the jacket tightly. Project Celestine, she whispered. Ethan froze. So it's true? She nodded slowly. I remember flashes now. Scientists, lights, machines. They said we were the future, living computers built to survive any war. But something went wrong. They tried to destroy us, her voice shook. I ran, I hid. I think I was the only one left. Ethan stared at her, feeling both pity and fear. Lyra, do you know what that means? If the council finds out you're alive, they'll send a marshal after you. Lyra's eyes filled with tears. Then maybe I shouldn't be alive. Don't say that, you don't understand, she whispered. I'm not like you. I don't even know if I'm real. I was created to obey. Ethan stood up. Then listen to me. You're not just a program. You made choices, you ran, you fought, you survived. That's life, Lyra. That's what being real means. She looked up at him, her lips trembling. Why are you helping me, Ethan? You could sell me or turn me in. You'd be rich, he smiled faintly. Yeah, maybe. But I'd rather sleep at night. For a long moment, they just looked at each other. Two lost souls drifting between stars. Then, the ship's alarm beeped sharply. Ethan rushed to the control panel. Damn it, he muttered. Incoming transmission, scrambled signal. The screen flashed red. Unauthorized vessel detected. Prepare for inspection. Lyra's voice trembled. They found us, Ethan's heart pounded. Not yet. He turned off the lights and switched the ship to stealth mode. The hum of the engines lowered to a whisper. Outside the window, a shadow appeared. A large galactic patrol ship moving slowly across the darkness like a shark in deep water. Ethan whispered, Hold still. For 5 long minutes, the Sparrow drifted silently. The patrol ship scanned the area, beams of light slicing through space. Then slowly it turned away. Lyra exhaled shakily. It's gone? Yeah, Ethan said, but his voice was heavy. That was close. Too close. He opened the side panel of the ship's console. Hidden inside was a small black cube and a tracking beacon. They planted this, he said grimly. We were marked from the start. Lyra's glow brightened in fear. They're coming, Ethan. They'll never stop. He looked at her, determination in his eyes. Then we'll have to outrun them. I'll find a way to erase that signal. Lyra hesitated, then said quietly, There's something you should know. My nanotech. It's not just part of me. It's connected. If they're tracking me, it's through my blood. Ethan frowned. You mean they can trace you anywhere? She nodded. Unless what? Unless I change my code. Ethan blinked. You can do that? I don't know, she admitted. But I can try. I need your help. You understand machines better than I do. He nodded. Then we'll do it together. They spent hours in the ship's lab. Lyra sat in the scanner chair, her body glowing faintly as Ethan connected wires and data chips to her wrist. He typed commands, sweat rolling down his forehead. Almost there, he said. If this works, it'll rewrite your ID signal. Lyra closed her eyes, whispering, I trust you. The moment he hit the command key, the ship shook violently. The lights flickered. Lyra gasped. Her body went stiff as bright blue light spread across her skin. Lyra! Ethan shouted, her voice trembled, distorted. Something's wrong. They found us. Through the code. A burst of static exploded on the ship's speakers, followed by a cold, metallic voice. This is Marshal Kara Thorne of the Galactic Council. Turn over the fugitive immediately or face destruction. Ethan's blood ran cold. Lyra's eyes opened wide, glowing brighter than ever. She's here, she whispered. The hunter. The ship's sensors screamed as a giant cruiser appeared from hyperspace above them. Ethan gritted his teeth. Hang on, Lyra, whatever happens next, we fight. Outside the window, blinding lights filled the stars. The hunt had truly begun. The stars burned like cold eyes above the small ship Sparrow. Inside, alarms flashed red. Ethan sat in the pilot's seat, his hands shaking over the controls. Outside, a massive galactic cruiser loomed, black, silent, and deadly. Its hull gleamed with the Council's golden crest, a sun crossed by a sword. Lyra stood behind him, her eyes wide. It's her, she whispered. Marshal Kara Thorne. Ethan frowned. Who is she? Lyra's voice trembled. The one who ended Project Celestine. The one who killed my creators. A sharp voice echoed through the ship's speakers. This is Marshal Kara Thorne of the Galactic Council. Vessel Sparrow, you are harboring a forbidden life form. Surrender it or be destroyed. Ethan slammed his fist on the console. Not happening? Lyra looked at him desperate. Ethan, you don't understand. She doesn't arrest people. She erases them. Then she'll have to try, he said. He pulled the control lever and the Sparrow dived sharply. The cruiser fired a plasma beam. It grazed their wing, shaking the ship. Sparks burst from the ceiling. Hold on, Ethan shouted. Lyra gripped the wall, fear in her glowing eyes. We can't fight that. It's a battleship. Ethan's face was pale but determined. We're not fighting. We're hiding. He switched off the ship's lights and engines, sending it spinning toward the planet below. The same dead world they had escaped from. The cruiser followed, scanning with beams of white light. Ethan aimed for a deep canyon filled with clouds of dust and radiation. That scanner won't see us through this storm, he muttered. The Sparrow hit the ground hard, sliding to a stop inside a ruined alien structure. Silence. Only the wind howled. Ethan exhaled slowly. We're safe. For now. Lyra looked out the window. Above, the cruiser hovered like a shadow, searching. She'll find us, she whispered. She always does. Ethan turned to her. Then we move before she lands. But before they could start the engine again, a voice came from behind them, calm, cold, and close. Too late. Ethan spun around, reaching for his blaster. A tall woman stood in the doorway, her armor shining silver under the dim lights. Her face was sharp, her eyes icy gray. A mark glowed on her collar, the symbol of a galactic marshal, Kara Thorne. She stepped forward slowly, her boots echoing on the metal floor. You've made a mistake, Mr. Cole. Ethan aimed his blaster. Get out of my ship. Kara's expression didn't change. You think you're saving her, but she's not what you believe. That thing, she pointed at Lyra, is a weapon. A machine built to destroy humanity. Lyra's hands trembled. That's not true. Kara tilted her head slightly. You don't even know what you are. Your kind doesn't feel guilt, and it only mimics it. That's what makes you dangerous. Ethan stepped in front of Lyra. She's not dangerous. She's scared. She's alive. Kara's gaze softened for just a second, then hardened again. Alive or not, the law is clear. She dies, Ethan fired. A flash of light. Kara moved faster than he could see, dodging easily. She struck his hand, knocking the weapon away. Lyra screamed, "Stop!" Her body flared with bright blue light, and a shockwave burst from her palms, throwing Kara across the room. The walls cracked. Sparks exploded. Kara stood up slowly, wiping blood from her lip. She smiled, and cold and amused. There it is. The weapon inside. Ethan helped Lyra stand, holding her arm. We have to go. They ran to the back hatch as Kara pulled out her plasma blade. You can run, she said, but you can't hide from the Council. Ethan slammed the door shut, sealing it. He and Lyra sprinted through the ruins, their breaths loud in the storm. Ethan, Lyra panted, she's right. If I lose control again, I could hurt you. Then don't, he said firmly. You're stronger than that. I believe in you. Her eyes met his, filled with both fear and hope. Behind them, Kara's voice echoed through a communicator. Lock on their signal. No survivors. The ground shook as drones descended from the cruiser, scanning with red lights. Ethan and Lyra ducked behind a wall, the air filled with the sound of engines and lightning. "Ethan," she whispered, "why do you risk everything for me?" He smiled faintly. "Because when I look at you, I see someone who deserves a chance. Not a weapon, a person." For a moment, her glowing eyes softened. "Then I'll protect you too." They turned to run deeper into the ruins, unaware that a small beacon had just activated on the back of Lyra's neck. Blinking red, Marshal Kara smiled from afar as her drone transmitted the signal. "Run all you want," she whispered. "You're already marked." The hunt wasn't over, and it was only getting started. The storm outside raged like an angry god. Lightning tore across the sky as Ethan and Lyra ran through the ruins of the alien city, chased by drones that glowed like red ghosts. The sound of plasma fire echoed through the dust. Ethan's breath came fast. His boots slipped on the cracked ground. "We can't keep running," he shouted. Lyra turned, her glowing eyes filled with fear and guilt. "They're tracking me, I can feel it." Ethan ducked behind a broken wall. "That beacon Kara planted, it's still inside you." Lyra pressed her hand to her neck, trembling. "It burns. Like something alive." Ethan looked around frantically. His gaze fell on a half-collapsed structure nearby, an old alien reactor core. "There. We can hide inside." They sprinted across the ruins and slipped into the structure. Inside, faint blue light pulsed from the ancient machinery. The air smelled of metal and dust, but the energy still hummed faintly beneath the floor. Ethan knelt and opened his toolkit. "I can use the old power lines to scramble your signal," he said quickly. Lyra shook her head. "No, it's not just the signal. The nanotech inside me, and it's reacting. It's waking up." Ethan frowned. "What do you mean?" Her voice cracked. "I think I was designed to self-destruct if captured. It's not just a tracker, it's a kill code." Ethan froze, the words cutting through him. "You're saying you'll explode?" "Not explode," she said softly. "Collapse. My body will melt and everything connected to me will burn." He stood up, anger and fear in his eyes. "No, I'm not letting that happen." Lyra looked at him sadly. "You can't stop what's inside me." Ethan stepped closer. "Watch me." He activated his wrist console and linked it to her neural frequency. "If your system is running on code, maybe I can rewrite it." Her eyes widened. "Ethan, if you connect to me, the nanotech might infect you." "I'll take that chance." She hesitated, then nodded slowly. "All right. But once it starts, don't break the connection." Ethan placed his palm against hers. The console beeped and blue light spread from her skin into his. The world around them dimmed. For a moment, Ethan's vision blurred, and then everything changed. He was no longer in the reactor. He was inside her memory. He saw flashes, white laboratories, scientists in silver suits, bright lights. Lyra lying on a table, her eyes lifeless. A voice echoed, "Prototype 7, Celestine unit online." Ethan gasped as the memory shifted again. The same voice, colder now. "If she escapes, trigger the failsafe." He felt Lyra's fear, her pain, her confusion, her loneliness. He saw her running through corridors as alarms blared, her creators screaming. Then suddenly everything went white again. Ethan opened his eyes. He was back in the reactor. But something was different. Blue lines glowed faintly beneath his skin, the same as Lyra's. He looked at his hands. "What happened?" Lyra stared at him, shocked. "Ethan, your body, and it's connected to mine now. You're linked to the nanotech network." He blinked, realizing what she meant. "You mean, if you die too," she finished softly. Ethan exhaled, a shaky laugh escaping him. "Well, that's one way to make sure I don't abandon you." Lyra smiled weakly, but her eyes were full of worry. "You shouldn't have done that." "I couldn't watch you fade," he said. "Not after everything." Before they could say more, the ground shook. A loud explosion echoed outside. Kara's forces had found them. Ethan grabbed Lyra's hand. "Come on, the reactor's unstable." "If we stay here, we're dead." As they ran toward the exit, Kara's voice thundered through the communicator. "You can't run forever. Ethan, that thing beside you will kill you, just like it killed everyone else." Lyra stopped, trembling. "She's right. I can feel it, Ethan. Something dark inside me, and it's fighting to take control." Ethan turned to her, gripping her shoulders. "Then fight it back. You're stronger than what made you." Tears shimmered in her violet eyes. "You really believe that?" "With everything I've got." Lyra closed her eyes, her glow brightening until the whole room shone like daylight. The beacon inside her flickered, then shattered with a high-pitched hum. Far above, Kara's scanner went dead. "What?" Kara hissed. Her signal just vanished. Back in the ruins, Lyra opened her eyes. The glow faded to a soft pulse. She was exhausted but alive. Ethan smiled. "You did it." Lyra looked at him with quiet wonder. "No, we did." Outside, thunder rolled again, shaking the ground. Kara's cruiser descended through the clouds, massive and silent. Ethan stared at it through the broken wall. "She's not done yet," Lyra nodded. "Then neither are we." As the storm lit the sky blue and white, the human and the half-machine stood side by side, ready for the battle that would decide not just their fate, but the fate of everything built by human hands. The sky above Tiris 9 was burning again. Lightning cracked between the clouds as Marshal Kara Thorne's cruiser descended like a black sun. Hundreds of drones swarmed from its hangars, their red lights flashing in the storm. Inside the ruins, Ethan and Lyra stood at the mouth of the reactor tunnel. Wind whipped through broken towers. The ground trembled with every blast from the ship's cannons. Ethan checked his blaster, half-charged. "We can't outrun her this time," he said quietly. Lyra's glow pulsed faintly. "Then we fight." He looked at her. "Fight against that?" Her eyes shone brighter. "You linked your life with mine, remember? If we die together. So let's make it mean something." Ethan wanted to argue, but when he saw the determination in her eyes, the same eyes that once begged for mercy, he only nodded. "Then let's make them remember who we were." They ran through the ruins toward the old alien control tower. The place was full of broken machines and dusty screens. Lyra placed her hand on one of them. The circuits beneath her skin glowed and the whole chamber came alive. "Ancient defense system detected," said a robotic voice. "Authorization required." Lyra's voice echoed softly. "Authorization. Celestine Unit 7. The floor shook as giant metallic statues around the city began to move. Old alien drones forgotten for centuries. Their eyes lit up with blue fire. Ethan stared in disbelief. "You can control them." Lyra smiled faintly. "They respond to my core signal. Maybe this city remembers me too." Outside, Kara's army landed. Soldiers in silver armor spread out, their rifles glowing. Kara herself stepped forward, cloak fluttering in the wind. Through her helmet speaker, her voice carried across the ruins. "Ethan Cole, I know you can hear me. Step aside and I'll grant you a quick death. Protect the creature and I'll erase you slowly." Ethan pressed the comms button. "You want her so bad? Come and get her." Kara raised her hand. "Open fire." The first barrage of plasma hit the ruins. Rocks exploded. Dust filled the air. But from within the smoke, Lyra raised both hands, and the old alien drones surged forward like a storm of steel. They clashed in a blast of light and fire. The sky turned red. Kara's soldiers fired relentlessly, but the alien machines were fast, ancient yet powerful. Ethan and Lyra ran through the chaos toward the central spire. "We need to shut down her ship's core or she'll destroy the planet," Ethan shouted. Lyra's body glowed brighter as she connected with the spire's systems. "I can send a feedback pulse, but it needs a power source. A strong one." Ethan looked at her, realizing what she meant. "No, you're not doing that," she smiled sadly. "You already know I have no choice. The energy in me is enough to overload her entire fleet." "I won't lose you," he said fiercely. Lyra reached out, touching his cheek. "You won't. You're part of me now. Even if my body fades, a piece of me will live in you." Before Ethan could stop her, she stepped into the beam of the spire. Her body lifted slightly, surrounded by a bright blue aura. Outside, Kara noticed the surge. "She's activating something. Focus all fire on the spire!" Ethan ran to the controls, his fingers flying over the keys. Come on, Lyra screamed as energy poured through her. The light grew so bright it pierced the clouds. For a moment, she looked almost divine, a being made of light and sorrow. Ethan connected his neural link to her again, sharing the pain, sharing the power. "You're not alone, Lyra," he shouted. Their minds merged, human and machine, heart and code. Together they sent a pulse so strong it shattered the sound of thunder. Kara's cruiser froze mid-air. Its engines overloaded. One by one, the drones fell from the sky like dead stars. The storm itself seemed to pause, held in silence. Then the explosion came. A wave of blue energy tore through the battlefield, flattening everything. Ethan fell to his knees, blinded by the light. When the roar faded, the sky was quiet again. The cruiser was gone. Nothing left but ash and scattered metal. The ruins glowed softly, peaceful at last. Ethan crawled toward the spire. Lyra! She lay on the ground, weak, her glow fading. Her voice was faint. It's over. Ethan. He knelt beside her, holding her hand. Don't talk like that. You did it. We're free now. Lyra smiled softly. You made me believe I could be more than a weapon. That's all I ever wanted. Her eyes dimmed slowly. If you ever see the stars again, look for me there. Lyra, please. The light in her skin flickered, then faded completely. Ethan held her tightly, his tears mixing with the rain. The storm passed, leaving only silence and a broken man beneath a sky full of ghosts. But far above the clouds, in the data streams of the galactic network, a new signal flickered, the same pulse pattern as Lyra's heartbeat, somewhere in the vastness of space. She was still alive. The world was silent after the storm. Dust floated through the ruins like slow snow. The great alien city, once broken and cold, now glowed softly with the remains of Lyra's energy. Ethan sat alone beside her still body. His hands were dirty, his face streaked with tears and ash. Around him, the machines she had awakened stood motionless, like silent guardians waiting for a command that would never come. He touched her hand gently. It was cold now, the faint blue glow gone. You said I'd see you in the stars, he whispered. But I don't even know how to look without you. The link between them was quiet. No voice, no signal, just emptiness. He looked up at the sky. The storm clouds had cleared. For the first time in days, he could see the stars. They shone brighter than before, as if the galaxy itself was mourning her. Ethan didn't know how long he sat there. Hours, maybe days. His ship, the Sparrow, was damaged but not beyond repair. He forced himself to move. Lyra wouldn't have wanted him to give up. He began to fix the ship, and slowly, painfully. Every sound of a tool reminded him of her laugh, her voice asking questions about humanity, about hope. When he finally powered the console again, something strange happened. The screen flickered, static, then light. A soft voice whispered through the speakers. Ethan? His heart stopped. Lyra? The screen glowed brighter, forming her image, faint, made of light and data. Her eyes, violet as ever, looked at him gently. I can't stay long, she said softly. My body is gone, but part of me survived and in the galactic network. The pulse we sent, it copied my consciousness into the data streams. Ethan's voice shook. You're alive. Somehow you're alive, she smiled faintly. Not as before. I'm everywhere now, and in machines and signals and the stars you see. He reached out toward the screen even though he couldn't touch her. I thought I lost you. You did. But maybe I was never meant to stay in one place, she said gently. You gave me freedom, real freedom. I wanted to give something back. The screen flickered again, showing data lines moving rapidly. Before the explosion, I sent a message across the galactic net. About the truth, about Project Celestine, the lies of the Council, the genocide they hid. Ethan's eyes widened. You told everyone? Yes, the whole galaxy will know what they did. They can't hide it anymore. He smiled slowly. You just started a revolution, Lyra. Her image shimmered, fading slightly. Maybe not a revolution. Maybe just a chance for others like me, and for humans like you, to believe in something better. Lyra, he said, voice breaking. Come back with me. I can rebuild a body for you. I can... She shook her head softly. No, Ethan, this is who I am now. I belong to the stars, to the systems, to every signal that carries hope. But I'll always be with you. Her voice became faint, almost like wind. Remember what you said? Humanity isn't about what you are. It's about what you choose. He nodded, tears running freely now. Then I choose to keep your promise. The light faded. The screen went black. Only her last words echoed in the silence. Look to the stars, Ethan. I'll be there. Days later, Ethan launched the Sparrow into space again. The world of Tyrus 9 grew smaller behind him. He looked out at the endless dark, but it didn't feel empty anymore. The Galactic Council had fallen into chaos. Carathorn's disappearance and the data Lyra released shattered their control. People across the stars began questioning the laws that once ruled them. Some called it the Awakening. Ethan became a quiet legend, the human who loved the machine that saved the galaxy. He didn't care about fame or history. All he cared about was the new signal that pulsed across the systems, a heartbeat of light that echoed through every starship and satellite, a sign that Lyra was still out there. Sometimes, when he drifted through deep space, the lights on his console would flicker, and a faint voice would whisper through the static. "Still fixing broken things, Ethan?" He would smile every time. "Always, Lyra." And somewhere far away among the stars, a soft laugh echoed, warm, alive, and full of light. The galaxy had changed forever. No longer just human. No longer just machine. But something new, a beginning.